my whole entire life, I've been searching for the big. I've spent time with my pops, and my pops was always thinking big. He was thinking larger than our circumstances. It wasn't just about where we were at the time, but where we could go. My mind was constantly expanding. Even though we lived on Vandenberg Air Force Base, which is a small little community in Lompoc, California, small little community, my mom always talked about what could be and what the possibilities. But at times I thought so big that I didn't realize some of the small little principles that my parents were giving me that were going to be the foundation for every single thing. They would constantly tell us that how important friendship was, how important having great people around us was, how important they would encourage us to have our friends over, and they would have their friends over, and we would see this all the time. And my pops would always say to me, he said, you never know where someone's from. You never know where they're going. You never know where you'll meet up with them again. So make a friend out of everyone. And he would say this over and over and over again. And a lot of times, because it was my pops, I would kind of push it to the side a little bit. And then he would grab me at some point. Sometimes he would say, listen to me, boy. And then he would say, I didn't say Leroy. And I said, what do you even mean, Pops? And what he was saying is, I'm calling you by your name, boy. Listen to me. Listen to me and realize that if you just make friends, you just make friends all around the world. You don't have to be good at all these things that they're good at, because your friends will be good at them. And today, later on, I get to interview a man named Ethan Evans, who helped to invent Amazon Prime, Amazon Video, Amazon Gaming. I mean, this guy is unreal. But the reason why is because he came off stage, I came off stage at co-hosting Secret Knock in Las Vegas, and he made a joke to me. We laughed, shook hands, and then we became friends. And now I have access to an incredible human that has taken some of the conveniences that we now can't live without to the whole entire world. But I have access to him because he's simply my friend. It's not about all the accomplishments that he's had or even my accomplishments. It's about the two of us truly connected. And so I go back to that point that my pops gave me, just to make a friend out of everyone. And there's so many things that we're working on right now, or we're hearing, and it's around us. And it's the simplest things that we're pushing them to the side because we're constantly going for the big. But what I would suggest is, in the wise words of my pops, listen, boy, and I didn't say Leroy, so why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Can't believe that the Vibe Room is almost here. It is on Saturday and it's completely sold out, actually oversold. It's incredible. It is going to be amazing. If you are coming, make sure that you don't show up fashionably late because you won't have a seat. I promise you, it's going to be incredible. In today's episode of Inchstones, which is, my friend Roy Tuscany said, it reminded him of Kaizen, a Japanese word that means a series, not a smearies, but a series of small improvements, or never walk past poor quality. And in Inchstones, it's just little tiny things that we can action into our day to day that will end up, when we pile them up, become the milestones as we move forward. If you don't have the book, The Vibe, you can click the link, check that out. It'd be amazing, not only for yourself, but for your company. And then I'd love to come in and speak with your company too. It'd be amazing to be able to look at and how to shape and construct the vibe, which is not the energy that you bring into the room, but the way that people feel when you leave. And we could do that as we go. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And in Proverbs 7, it hit me because as I sat down in my alone time today, the words of my pops came in. It was like, listen, boy, I didn't say Leroy. And he would always say these things, and I would be like, Pop, what do you actually mean? What he was meaning now, I realize it, is there's so many little things that I'm saying to you, son. There's so many things that you're becoming aware of and that you're around that sometimes you'll push to the side or you won't even see as valuable because you hear them all the time or they're repeated all the time. And I want you to listen up, boy. And I didn't say, Leroy, I'm calling you by your name. And my name to him was boy a lot of times. Sometimes he would call me my brother's name too, and he would mix them up. And now I do that as a dad. And it reminded me because I get the opportunity today to interview an incredible human. I have some of the coolest friends in the world, and I have access to some really, really, really cool people. My mom would say they have access to me. But it's just because of true connections. It's not because of passing a resume and then, listing off all these things. It's because of those things. I just had it happen on LinkedIn this morning. I was looking down and my buddy, Nick Horgan, he works with Amaze Insights. He's the CCO and he is an incredible human, and they just partnered up with the Grand Wailea. Well, the Grand Wailea, the contact that he had there is a guy named Brian Gay. Well, Brian Gay used to work in Las Vegas and I know Brian from like 1999. So I reached out to Brian and it was just incredible because now my neighbor, who's Nick Horgan, is now doing business with Brian Gay, but I have access to both of them. The reason why is because they're my friends. If you make friends, you don't have to be good at anything except being yourself. And when you're yourself, then you'll always do 100%. And so in Proverbs 7, it runs this down, right? And so in verse 1 through 3, it says, keep them and store them up, read them, write them, and speak them, right? And so what it was talking about is keep them and store them up, the little things that you hear, the little things that you become aware of, those little tiny things, those things that are not that shiny, that are constant and consistent in your life. And things for me, breathe, drink water, pray. This was a thing that my pop said. My mama was said like, shit, like just don't get so serious about the stuff. Shit, let it roll off. If you wake up late for work, shit, maybe you weren't supposed to be there. You get fired from your job, shit, maybe you weren't supposed to have the job. So there's so many different things that God will be able to bring into our life, but a lot of times they're not the shiny, huge thing. They're that little tiny inch stone every single day that we pile up that becomes the milestone as we go. In verse 4 and 5, wisdom and insight will guide you. This is a very simple one, but how can we get wisdom? First of all, I mean, all of us would like to have it. It's the right use of knowledge. Well, the right use of knowledge comes from fear of God. Fear of God is just the respect of God. How do we respect somebody? We've talked about it before, but if it is your first episode of Inchstones, then all you do is you listen to what God says or listen to what anyone says. See if their actions are in line. If their actions are in line with what they say, you'll start to respect them. And if you respect God, which is fear God, that's the context, the word meant, the fear word meant respect at that time. If you respect him, he'll give you wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge. And then he could actually bring knowledge into your life. When he brings knowledge, that knowledge will bring understanding, because the more knowledge that you have, you'll start to understand things. Once you start to understand things and you get a deeper understanding, then you get insight. You start to see inside of what is actually happening. And then when you have insight, then you can walk through something with discretion. Yes, I can do it, but is it for me? And when you have discretion, it'll create discipline. Should I do that? Nah. Could I do that? Yes. Does it feel good while I do it? Yes. Is it for me? No. Okay, cool. I won't do it. That's discipline. And then it builds strength, because the more and more discipline that you have, the more and more strength and muscle that you'll have in that area. And that strength will lead you right back to the respect of God where you got the wisdom in the first place. So wisdom and insight will always guide you. But these are simple things that a lot of times they're hiding in plain sight, and we have the tendency not to look at them. In verse 6 through 23, it wraps it up. In a world of distractions, wisdom will give you clear vision. You see, there's going to be all kind of challenges, all kind of distractions. We've been talking about that in these last couple episodes of Inchstones, but there's going to be so many different distractions. Your phone, your TV, a deal that's not for you, a situation in your life, a relationship, all these things, they could be distractions. And it doesn't mean that we can't look at the positive part of it, but a lot of times in a world of distraction, wisdom will give you clear vision. But wisdom is not going to be the shiny. It's not going to be the super exciting. It's going to be the small, little, consistent things and work that you put in when nobody's watching, that you'll get no credit for. And most of the time, it never has a straight line to your desired result, but it will lay the foundation for all of the things that you truly desire and really, really matter. That's 6 through 23. And as we finish up, I believe it was, it was 24 through 27. Watch this. Read it, write it, speak it, and then do it. If you read wisdom, you write wisdom, you speak about wisdom, and then you do it, I tell you, it's amazing. It creates almost like a little force field around you. It does not mean that things won't go wrong, because they will go wrong. It does not mean that everything will go perfect, because it won't. Circumstances will happen. But when those circumstances hit and it's not what you want and it's distracted and all these things, what will happen is you'll be able to kind of go right back to center, snap back into your natural state, which is that you're perfectly, wonderfully made in the image of God. Anything contrary to that's a lie. And from this day forward, only accept truth. And imagine if we could walk in that knowing that we're exactly where we need to be at the exact right time. And when I looked at this part of it, and as it ended up, read it, write it, speak it, and do it. And what my pops was saying all the time is just make a ton of friends, Kelly. Make a ton of friends. Make a ton of friends. And my mom was saying, watch your mouth, guard your heart. Watch your mouth, guard your heart. Watch your mouth. Watch my mouth, because whatever came out of my mouth was actually an overflow of my heart. So the only way it could come out my mouth is if it went into my heart. So watch your mouth for what you say, because that'll tell you what's in your heart. Guard your heart, son, for the things that will come into it. And when you have great friends around you, you put yourself around great friends, you make great friends, then you give yourself the freedom to say, like, I don't have to be anything else except just exactly who I am. My my pops, that saying, he said, you never know where someone's from. You never know where they're going. You never know where you'll meet up with them again. So just make a friend out of everybody through unrivaled character. And the way that we could build that character is by seeking wisdom. How do we seek wisdom? Is just fearing God, which means that we spend time with him. And that's every single day. And I could just hear my dad, my pops right now in my headphones. Listen to me, boy. I didn't say Leroy. It's amazing, because at 49 years old, what I was hearing at 8 years old, that I was saying, okay, Dad, I heard it a million times, is the things that I'm able to build my entire life on, my relationships, my family, my business, all those things. So I would say, take a breath today, slow down, and look to the principal things, maybe not the shiniest things, but those things that could build a firm foundation in your life. And so I want to thank you all. It's been Proverbs 7. Inchstones, I appreciate you. The Vibe Room is coming on November 9th. It's sold out. You can't go, so make sure that you make your decision earlier next time. Check out Secret Knock. It's coming in, I believe, in March or April is our date, and it's the greatest, it's the #1 networking conference in the world that you can't go to unless you're invited, and there's 2 people that can invite, myself and Greg Reed. So reach out, holler if you're interested in that. Grab the book, The Vibe. I love you guys so much. Hopefully you have a phenomenal day. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.